got a chance to see the new Steven Soderbergh movie, Black Bag. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zenka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I'm working on a new budget this week, and I start back on an actual set the week after. And then I just got put in for a possible pretty big film back in LA, so we'll see. Got a lot of stuff going on. So finally, only had to wait 2 years since I've been here to finally start back to work. But if you'd like to read anything that I've written, I am on Amazon.com. Just type in my name, Frank Zenka, into Amazon, and you'll see most of my stuff come up. You'll see my 4-novel series, my sci-fi, called Destiny Aurora. That was made into a graphic novel, which is also on there, as well as a board game and an RPG. And it's also on Audible. The first book's on Audible. They also are on Kindle. Plus my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, is on there. If you like true life stuff, I have a Holocaust biography called Escape from Berlin. And then I have, if you like horror, I have a ghost story called The Awakening. So there's plenty of, just a little bit for everybody out there. I'm working on a new book right now. I've been editing that like crazy. And yeah, I'm going to put that up on Kickstarter soon. And I'm working on a new comic too called Fairy Tales of Terror. So let's jump into Black Bag. So I really wanted to see this, and I also wanted to see the Jack Quaid film, Novocaine. But Black Bag I actually wanted to see this first, but Black Bag the time wasn't working for me, so I went to go see Novocaine instead. But I was like, all right, well, I really don't have time to see it this week because I got stuff going on. But I was like, what's coming out next week? Because I'm like, probably nothing's going to go on outside of Snow White, and nothing's going to really compete with it. But there's a whole bunch of independent films coming out this week that I really want to see. De Niro went completely bonkers, but he has a movie where he's playing 2 parts, and it's a gangster film. I love gangster films. Plus Skarsgård, I forgot what the name is, which Skarsgård it is, the one who plays with It. He's in a new film coming up as well, and where he's like, with Anthony Hopkins playing the voice, he's like trapped in a car called Locked, I think. So I'm like, oh man. So I got to go see it this week because I want to see a couple of films next week. Of course, I'm not going to see Snow White, as it's not made for me anyway. But yeah, so I said, okay, let's just go this week, and so I can see 2 films next week, or this weekend. So anyway, that's where I'm at. But I went in there because I will see, as you can see behind me, a big Cate Blanchett fan. I will watch anything that she's in. Fassbender, I can take or leave. I really don't care. But this thing has some really good cast. I'm not a big Soderbergh fan at all. I think he's a lot of miss more than hit. And I just saw the other film he did about the ghost called Presence, and I thought that was shit. I thought that was gimmick, alone. But at least that was $10 million. So, he can almost make his money back on that. But he's starting to do these very, very contained films. So this, I want to talk about the writer first. Okay, so the writer of this, and I want to go through this guy's career because it's very interesting. His name is David Koepp, Koepp. And he just did this Presence film. So obviously he and Soderbergh are working closely together. But I thought that script was shit. Then he did Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Also shit. He did Lego Jurassic Park. He did Shadow Recruit Jack Ryan. Average at best. Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Crap. He did a couple of the Zathura. He did Hack, Secret Window. And then we get into the early 2000s. So everything from 2000 up, the last 20 years, He's just been writing complete shit, but selling, obviously. But he wrote the original Spider-Man movie. He wrote Panic Room, Stir of Echoes, Snake Eyes, not the old Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, Lost World, Jurassic Park, the original Mission Impossible, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the lowest of all of them. I know a lot of people think the second one is the worst, but I think the first one is the worst. The Shadow, okay, cheesy but good. Carlito's Way, the original Jurassic Park, Death Becomes Her, Toy Soldiers, and the list goes on, man. So I don't know what happened to him in the last 20 years. He started just writing like shit, but the 20 years prior to that, he was really good. And but anyway, I thought the script on this was actually very good. So I got to give him a little praise on this particular script. But this is where it's all screwed up. I don't know who put this out. It was not a big production company. I mean, it was probably Soderbergh's production company, but it wasn't a big distribution company. But this was supposed to be a low-budget film. It's written very, very contained. You only have a few locations. You have a few main characters. You have like 6, 7 main characters. That's it. And you have a little bit of travel to Germany, but that's it. I mean, so let's name off the locations, okay? The locations are, and I'm going to do non-spoilers because this is a whodunit, okay? So anything I say, outside of the basic plot will give too much away, so I'm not going to say nothing. But this is not an action movie. If you're going to see this thinking it's a spy action movie, it is not. It is a cerebral film. It is a whodunit. It is almost like, the Poirot type of thing where it's this master detective, but he's a spy instead. Or he works for the government, or whatever. You know what it reminded me of a little bit? No Way Out. Reminded me a little bit of that. Where he's trying to figure out, he's in a bad spot and he's trying to figure stuff out. That's what it kind of reminded me a little bit. Even though I think No Way Out was a better film. But, so we have their house, which we see their house a lot. We're in the dining room quite a bit. We also have their offices. Those are the 2 main locations. Then we have his boat, right? So we have a dock and his boat. I think that's the 3 main locations right there. Then we see the exterior of the hotel, quick. We never go inside. And even if we did, I think it was a close-up on her, and that was it. And what else did we see? We saw an exterior of Germany, of Zurich, which only has her in it. That's it. The other person that's in there, they could have been local. So you're only flying her out. And then you could have had a local crew there because it was very, very quick. And what else? Again, their offices, because she had the psychiatrist's office. We have basically little pieces of their spy offices all the way. A debriefing room, all that. But I can name all of the locations. There's probably 10 locations. That's it. So this was meant to be very, very compact. And I do not, and the reason I'm saying this is because it was $50 million. $50 million. How was this self-contained film that takes place mostly in a house and a dock and an office $50 million? Somebody skimmed that shit off the top, man. Because aside from the 2 main actors that they're not getting $20 million apiece. There's no way. Those 2 actors cannot pull that kind of money in. If they made $5 million apiece, I'm surprised. So I'm very confused about why this film was $50 million. Just to show you the difference, no action in this. There's one explosion of a car. That's it. Meanwhile, you had Novocaine that was non-stop action and gunplay, and that was 18 million. Half, less than half. So you figure that out. Somebody was stealing money on this thing big time. So let's go through the cast, because the cast is what really holds this together, because if it wasn't for the cast making that script work, where it's very, very slow, it's a very, very slow burn, it would not work. So, of course, you have Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett that are both spies that in different departments that are married and have been married for many years. They make it work, but they don't talk about it. And whenever there's something that has to do with their job, they just say it's black bag, and they can't talk about it. Gustav Skarsgård, he plays Floki in Vikings, if you've ever seen that. He does other things as well. I don't know what these Skarsgård family what they fed these guys to grow up to all be actors. Because you got the guy from It, and then you have the guy that played Tarzan who was in True Blood. They're all like brothers or cousins or whatever. But anyway, this guy's very good too. I would love to get them all in a movie together. Then you had Tom Burke, and this whole time I was saying, who is this guy? I recognize this guy. But anyway, he plays Jack from Furiosa. So if you do see it and you're like, I recognize him. I loved his part in Furiosa. He does really a good job here as well. Pierce Brosnan, very small role for him. He probably has 3 scenes in the entire movie. Jean Paul, I don't know how to say his first name. I really like this guy. This guy was in, I've never seen Bridgerton, but just because he's in it, I'm almost willing to see it. But I loved him in Dungeons and Dragons. I thought he was great. This guy would make a really good action hero. I don't know why nobody's tapping him for that. But he does. I mean, he's a good, dramatic actor. But I would love to see him do more action. But anyway, he's from Dungeons and Dragons. He's great. He's good in this as well. And then you have Naomi Harris, who is always good. In fact, she was in one of my favorite movies of last year, which was also a stage play that was adapted into a film called The Wasp. So with Catherine Winnick from Vikings also. So anyway, she does a really good job in here as well. And then you have Marissa Abela, which I've never seen her in anything. But anyway, I didn't see this movie, but I heard she was good in it, where she played Amy Winehouse in the biopic. Or biopic, however you say it. So anyway, that's the whole cast for the most part, except for like day players. That's it. Because even Skarsgård has like 2 scenes. That's it, man. And then we have Kay Alexander, who plays Anna, day player, And then you have the people in the office, all day players for the most part. 2-3 days done. So where did this money go? Where did it go? I don't know. I don't understand it. But it did keep me guessing about what was going on. It had red herrings. He's playing detective for the most part, trying to figure this out. His wife is implicated, which you see in the trailer. So he's trying to eke out whether his wife is involved. And this takes place in London. And again, we have London and we have Zurich, and we have one guy who comes with the CIA. He's in one scene. That's it. So you just had day players pop in and out. Where's this $50 million? I'm so confused. But it's only an hour and a half, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. In fact, I had to go to the bathroom. I came back. I was hoping I would, because there's some information that's thrown in, and if you miss it, that's why I went to the bathroom. Luckily, I went at a decent time where I didn't really miss anything. But if there was some other times where if I had gone, I would have missed something. So anyway, I do recommend this film as long as you know that you're walking in there without seeing an action film, where you're just seeing a whodunit. That's it. It's one of those whodunit films. It's a Poirot type of movie, except it has spies in it. You have very little gunplay. I think you have a gunplay in one scene, and that's it. So anyway, I give this a 7.5 out of 10. It is my kind of movie. It may not be yours because there's no action in it. But I liked the slow burn. I love Cate Blanchett, and I think Fassbender is really the star here. Even though they had double billing, they both were on the one card on the screen. But I think that Fassbender is the star in Cate Blanchett, because Cate Blanchett, I think, is in less than Fassbender is. But I thought they had some really good chemistry, actually. I think they did a good job. All right, well, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me that like, give me that subscribe if you can. Share this film out there, or share this video out there to support this film. They need a lot of money to make back $50 million. This is a flop. There's no doubt it's a flop. Soderbergh, bring your freaking budget down, man. All right, I will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome week.